Selling a home now is not the same as it was 6 months ago, and that means that you need to get real. I'm Schumann, and I'm a realtor here in Minneapolis, and lately I've been seeing this meme floating around about buyers acting like it's 2008 and sellers behaving like it's still 2021, and boy, ain't that the truth. Are either one of these scenarios true? No, they are not. It is not a housing crash, nor is it that white hot selling market that we saw in 2021. So, what does that mean for you as a seller? And what does it mean if you are a buyer? And what about the fact that you may be having to do both of these things in this market? If that's you, you might be having some conflicting thoughts like, please let my house sell for $50,000 over asking on the first day, and then conversely, how low can I go when you get to the buy side? If you are a buyer, my advice to you is do not lowball, especially if the house is newly on the market and is priced appropriately, because we are still in a seller's market, even though the headlines of every news organization may make you think that that has changed. How do I know this? Data. We are sitting at about 1.52 months worth of supply of housing inventory in the Twin Cities. We're inching up a little bit every month, but remember that anything under 5 months worth of inventory is considered a market that favors sellers. Not to be obvious or anything, but 1.52 is less than 5, so therefore a seller's market. 5 to 7 months is considered balanced, and any number over 7 months worth of inventory is considered a buyer's market, and we are nowhere remotely close to a buyer's market. What other data tells me that you should not lowball? Well, sellers are still getting nearly 100% of their asking price. So if you lowball, the next word you're going to hear is next. This week, I have had a listing sell and multiple offers over asking price and a buyer win in a competitive bidding situation as well. In both cases, the offers were not vastly higher than the asking price. We were able to come to an agreement within 1% of the asking price, rather than back in the wild, wild west days of the past 2 years where buyers were offering 15% or more over what the seller had asked for, and then the buyers having to add even more cash to the sale to manage any appraisal gap worries with the lender. It's a much friendlier place to be as a buyer now, but please, if you want the house, be real. Sellers have options, and they will put your offer in the trash. Don't assume that you'll be welcome back in if you decide you're going to change your offer either. So likewise, if you are selling your home, you also need to be real. The past couple of years have given sellers the impression that they can just slap any price on their house and expect it to sell in multiple offers in just a few short hours and then whistle their way to the bank. And that's not exactly true anymore. We are seeing a lot of price decreases on homes. In the 7-county metro area, we have seen an average of 1,000 price decreases per week out of about 6,800 active home listings. Homes are staying on the market longer too, which obviously makes sense when you look at price reductions. Sellers won't do that unless their home is sitting on the market, and that's the next lever they have to pull. Not to beat a dead horse, but homes need to be priced at today's market value. The market has changed. The market value of the home has changed. And this was actually a conversation that I had with my very receptive and wonderful seller recently. We priced the home just slightly under nearby listings, even though this home that we were selling was in great shape. As a result, we had heavy buyer traffic and offers coming in right away. The listings nearby have been sitting on the market for over a month with no contract. As a seller, you really need to ask yourself, do you want to get the price that it will sell for quickly and possibly in multiple offers and then have the property gone? Or do you really want to sit around and wait through price reductions and anxiety and showing the home and then the house getting stale and not getting attention? You're honestly going to get the very best price you're going to get during the first 2 weeks on the market, like 99.9% of the time. The longer it sits, the more a buyer's agent will look at it and think one of two things. Either the house is ripe for an offer well below asking price, or the seller and the listing agent may not be like on planet Earth and in touch with reality. So time does have a way of making you face the facts. I want to say one other thing about the interest rates that are driving the change in the market, and I have had this thought recently that we really need to change the way that we look at this interest rate increase. And this may be a little bit in the weeds of real estate, but historically a normal interest rate was closer to 6%, not 3% like we saw last year. And it seems to me that if you were in a position to buy then, you actually really got lucky, and it was like hitting a 50% off sale, at least on interest rates, not on prices. But it was for a limited time only. And what we see today, while shocking because of the speed with which it has changed, is more normal. The other thing to think about is that the over asking price offers and the speed that things were selling was causing housing prices to inflate, skyrocket, at such a rapid rate that even with good interest rates, you had to pay a lot, often more than the house was worth. So now you don't. And you don't have to bleed cash in order to buy. I'm not saying that houses aren't still expensive and, housing is difficult to get into if you're not there already. But I am saying that the market has normalized to the point where you're not having to guarantee appraisal coverage, offer insane amounts over asking price, and give up your ability to negotiate with sellers on price and other terms. We are back to a more normal market, whether we like it or not. I actually like it from my perspective. And hopefully this means one in which the fever to get a home doesn't lead to overpayment and buyer's remorse. If you are a seller, don't panic, because two things are happening at the same time. One is people still need to move, and two is people are acclimating to the new conditions. It is becoming the new normal, and they are learning how to navigate them in a way to get themselves a home. So that said, if you're a seller, in order to sell quickly, you should, number one, forever and always, realistically and appropriately price your home for the current market. Number two is don't neglect the prep. Simple things mean a lot when selling a house, and I would say the number one thing is making your home look like the most well cared for home at that price point, and that means clean. And also take a critical eye or look around your house to any deferred maintenance and just fix those small things. And number three, hire a full-time realtor. And seriously, I mean full-time, not your cousin's best friend that has a license but doesn't do this all day, every day. You want someone that is going to market your property to its best advantage. Very important here, knows the conditions in your specific neighborhood and can help you price it properly. And you also want someone that gives you great advice about the best way to get your home ready for sale and can protect your interests when it comes time for negotiating and making sure that every single detail is handled prior to the closing. Realtors are in and out of houses all day, every day, especially if they're full-time, and we see a lot, and we know what's out there, and we know what homes are worth at different price points. So we also know what can go wrong in a transaction, and we can help you avoid serious and very expensive pitfalls. So do yourself a favor and hire someone that's going to look out for you. Please let me know if you have questions. I would love to talk to you. I love talking to people that find me on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great week.